The City of Bristol, providing beautiful parks, economic development, and a family-friendly community.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to open our joint meeting of the Board of Finance and City Council by asking those who are able to please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on our joint meeting agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular joint meeting from February 9th, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made by Smith, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is our consent calendar, items 2A through H. Are there any members of the Board of Finance or City Council who would like to extract a motion from here to talk about outside of the consent calendar? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Aye.
Item 3 is to transfer $8,290 from the general fund contingency account to the operating transfers out for special revenue.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4 is to make an additional appropriation totaling $16,580 within the Special Grants and Donations Fund for the Connecticut DSET grant for the purchase of an external generator inlet installation.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? This is for the police department. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5 is to transfer $8,750 from the general fund contingency account to the operating transfers out special revenue.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 is to make an additional appropriation totaling $17,500 within the Special Grants and Donations Fund for the Connecticut DSET grant for the purchase of a 25 kilowatt generator for the radio tower.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 7 is to transfer $11,500 from the general fund contingency account to the operating transfers out special revenue.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion.
Second.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8 is to make an additional appropriation totaling $23,000 within the Special Grants and Donations Fund for the Connecticut DSET grant for the purchase of 2 HVAC units for the northeast tower.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the last item on our agenda is our monthly revenue and expense report presentation by the Controller Diane Waldron.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the beautiful day that was out there today. It's nice to see spring coming. Just a quick update. I know we're watching our tax collections because we have that deferral until April 1st. Right now we are at 92.3% of budget. Compared to last year, it was 98.9%. I know the tax collector is, watching that weekly, and we actually talk quite often on it. But I do think we will see the revenues, the tax collections come in as of April 1st. So hopefully when you see the March 31st report at your April meeting, we'll have picked up a lot of that lag. And that does include personal property, real estate, and the motor vehicle. So all of those have been extended until April 1st. So We'll see all that as the next month and a half goes on, or actually the rest of this month. Prior year tax revenues, we're at 86% compared to 88% last year, so really in line there. And then again, the motor vehicle supplement, I know I've talked about this before. We billed $2.2 million. We budgeted 1.4, so we will have a nice surplus there as well. To date, we've collected almost 1.2 million on that. So again, nothing really of concern at this point. I think we'll know better next month at the end of March, actually, if tax collections will be affected by COVID or people are unable to pay. But as of right now, it's where we kind of had expected everything to be. Building permit revenue is at 92.5%, which compares to 86% last year. We're at 1.1 million, so that's trending very well. However, the conveyance fees are off the chart, and the city clerk, I know, we've talked about this in her budget meetings as well. But right now we are at 1.262 million, which is 153% of budget. And we still have the next 4 months to go. So I think that revenue item has come in very well. And it helps because, as I mentioned before, investment earnings are not where they were at all last year at this time. Last year we're at 861,000 on investment earnings, and right now we're only at 170,000. So that's something that I think we're projecting. It will probably come in just under 200 or a little over 200,000 for the fiscal year. So again, one is doing really well, and the investment earnings just aren't there. On the expenditure side, just a couple quick things just to note. I know we're working on the Fema reimbursement. The Public Works Director is working on that for the storm. My office is still in the process of allocating the CRF money and the FEMA money that we received. To date, we have 1,096,000 that we still need to allocate to all the departments. That was monies that were reimbursed through December 30th. So we're able to allocate those costs for any COVID-related costs through December 30th. And when I say that, it does, Bristol Burlington Health had already received their amount. These amounts will be allocated between water, sewer, and the city. And there were some costs that actually went back to the Board of Ed as well for the cafeteria workers. So all of that, at some point, you will see an appropriation come through for that to allocate those funds. Just a quick update on the budget. We are almost towards the end. I just counted. We have 3 more budget meetings until the budget workshop. The Capital Improvement and Strategic Planning Committee has 1 more meeting. That's Monday, March 15th. The Board of Ed will be presenting their budget to the Board of Finance on March 16th, so that's next Tuesday. And then the Board of Finance regular meeting on March 23rd will see the balance of the other departments. We have seen all of the city departments have gone to the Board of Finance. The remaining budgets are water, sewer, the health district, and then a lot of the ancillary like debt service, employee benefits will be discussed at the March 23rd Board of Finance meeting. And then the budget workshop is scheduled for March 31st. Just one other thing that I'll mention, I know the mayor will speak to this later as well. There's been a lot of talk as to state funding and the American Rescue Plan. All I can say at this point, we're monitoring it very closely, what's happening with that. Right now there's very vague guidance as to what the funds could be used for. We're hoping that once it passes Congress, we'll be able to, the Department of Treasury actually has to write all the guidelines and finalize those. But just to summarize, these funds will be used for any loss of revenues that the city has had as a result of COVID, any unbudgeted expenses that were related to the pandemic, and then any water, sewer, or broadband expansion that could be used for those kind of infrastructure costs. So right now that's very broad, and there's no definition yet or guidelines. So as soon as we have all of that, we will definitely be looking at that as we go through the budget process, and hopefully know more within the next week or so.
So we've been on a series of calls sponsored by various organizations, and most of them are, again, waiting like we are, trying to get some of that guidance. And I believe that the American Rescue Plan is a 3-year
Yes.
allocation, so we have 3 years to work through that. And then we have some additional distressed municipality money that we're looking for as well.
So the state does, right now, they do have about 5.6 million, 5.4 million allocated to Bristol for distressed municipality for COVID. We're still not clear how that is supposed to be spent, what the guidelines are. Half of that is funded with COVID relief funds, half of it is supposed to be bonded by the state. So that's something, again, it's not a lot of guidance at this point on these monies.
Right. And for the Board of Finance involvement, we're going to have a lot of conversations because the Board of Education is also receiving an allocation that has been earmarked from the American Rescue Plan, as well as some additional ESSER funds through the state. So I think it could either be a moment of largesse or a moment of confusion at one of our final budget meetings, because we do have a lot of information that's coming into us, you know, and at this point in the budget process, it's a lot to take in. So stay tuned on where we are with some of that guidance. There are 2 additional calls tomorrow, and I do know I spoke with Dr. Carbone earlier today. She's on a call tomorrow for her money as well. So we'll all circle back and share information to the best of our ability once we receive it.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Great.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that was the last item on our agenda for the joint meeting. And for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, the joint meeting handles items that have already been seen by both the Board of Finance and the City Council independently, and now we come together to vote on them together. So for lack of discussion, which is sometimes a concern for people, we've already looked at most of these items. So the next item is a motion to adjourn. We are approaching 7 o'clock. I would like to start our council meeting on time. I will encourage those who have joined us online to stay on this call. You do not need to dial back in. And for those of you in the audience, you can stay where you are as well. We will get started shortly. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Mayor,
I move to adjourn.
Cheryl T.
Second.
had a chat, she said she would like to make a comment during,
Oh,
no, I don't know if that was during city council or during,
okay, no, well, we have not adjourned yet,
City
so,
council.
oh, city council, I'm sorry. She
Thank
chatted,
you.
city council.
okay, so we are free to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. So we will convene our city council meeting in about 2 minutes. Thank you. Hey, everyone, we're going to get started with our meeting. I'd like to let everyone know that we do have quite a few people in chambers tonight. We have several joining us online. It is imperative that for those of us up here on the dais, as well as the guests who may be speaking at the podium in front of us or online, to be very close to our microphones and also to maximize your volume on your computers so that we can hear you speak. The first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'd like to ask all of you to join us as we open our meeting. Next, I'd ask the City Council to introduce themselves, starting on my far right.
Peter Kelly, 2nd District.
Greg Hahn, District 1.
Scott Rosato, District 1.
Dave Perleski, District 2.
Brittany Barney, District 3.
Mary Fortier, District 3.
And I'm Mara Ellen Zappo-Sasu. Our first moment of reflection for tonight is to mark the 1 year anniversary of our, what do we even call it? The pandemic response that has occupied us for 12 months. So for the moment of reflection, as we reflect, I'd also like to have a moment of silence for all of those healthcare workers and all of the frontline essential workers who have been in unenviable positions of doing their jobs day in and day out over the course of the last 12 months, as well as, again, the number, which of today stands for 134 lost lives here in Bristol. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the approval of minutes of the regular city council meeting from February 9th, 2021.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any clarifications or changes needed? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have various items that are going to appear under public participation. The first is our nonprofit spotlight with the United Labor Agency and their Building Pathways program. And I'd like to ask Catherine Mehmed and Mike Batosa to come up to the podium where we're going to have a brief presentation by them and then also see a video which will put into action what they're going to be talking about and what we would like to bring to Bristol.
Thank you. My name is Catherine Mehmed. I'm the Executive Director of the United Labor Agency, and I'm here to chat with you all tonight about our Building Pathways Connecticut program. So I first want to thank the Mayor and the City Council for allowing me to come in and speak. As a Bristol resident, I am very excited about the opportunity to bring a program that I'm very passionate about to Bristol and to my neighbors, really. So the Building Pathways program is an apprenticeship readiness program. This is a training program which takes people who are typically underrepresented in the building trades and exposes them to various aspects. So they would get some of the basic safety training that they would need, including an OSHA 10, CPR, first aid, in addition to an introduction to the various trades, the bricklayers, the operating engineers, etc. With the support of the Bristol Labor Council, we are very excited about the opportunity to potentially bring this here to Bristol and have this as a training opportunity for residents here.
Okay. Thank you. So our thought has been that with the City Hall renovation project that's going to be happening next year, that we can do this as using this construction project as a place for their site visits. And really with the emphasis on jobs that we're looking for, this is really what it's going to be all about. So here's a brief video showing some of their students from a previous program.
My family wasn't financially stable. You know, both my parents weren't working stable jobs. I felt like I needed to do something, immediately, to help contribute to the family.
I was always a tomboy. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a carpenter or a mechanic. I just didn't really know how to get into all of it.
I was at GE for 33 years. And then they left, so I went down to unemployment, and they had a ready-to-work program.
Once I had the opportunity to do the program, I did it, and it brought me to all the different unions, and I got to try each and every one out.
It gave me all the stuff that I needed to do to get into the trade that I wanted to get into.
Being able to understand, more about the trades and actually graduate with the knowledge of having all these certs, all these different, things on your resume to help you, get inside the trades.
The skills that I'm learning and stuff, you can always take it and then do other things along with it.
All my other past jobs that I had, there was nothing with stability for the future. There's, no health insurance, no retirement plans, no nothing. And for me, especially having 3 children and my youngest being autistic, I want to make sure that I have a future, especially to be able to take care of him, as he gets older, because I don't know what the future is going to hold, So for me, this is the best thing that could have ever happened to me in my entire life. I'm so grateful. You guys will never understand how grateful I am to have this opportunity to be, and you guys got me in the union, it was awesome.
And especially me, being a young man, not knowing what I really want to do, stepping in and making this leap of faith was very necessary for me and my family. It's not a job, but it's a career.
Within 3 weeks, I was able to get work and become an apprentice. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
So what attracted me to this program, obviously, is job availability, but you also talked about your placement rate for jobs.
Yes, so at this point, we actually just finished our first class through a new partnership with the City of New Haven, and within 2 months, we had 71.4% of our graduating class working. So to finish that class, just just before the holidays, really, and be able to have that amount of people working so quickly, I think is just a testament to the fact that you have people who want to work. There are jobs, and typically these are people, like I mentioned, who don't have that opportunity elsewhere. You know, if you don't grow up on a farm or have somebody who's in the trades, you may not have that exposure. So we try to expose everyone.
So we are tentatively scheduling this to begin next spring, which would take into account the City Hall renovation project, but it would also get us clear of some of the COVID precautions, because obviously, as you can see from the video, this is a class best done hands-on. So some of the hybrid online learning we're hoping will not be taking place anymore by the time we're ready to do it. So we're committed to also fundraising and talking to a lot of our community partners. The cost of the program for the amount of people that we'd like to put in it is about $25,000. It covers the instructors, it covers the laptops, it covers safety equipment, and then hopefully we can find some in-kind space in which to conduct the classes. So with a year to do so, I think that it's a great program that we can plan for and incorporate into the City Hall renovation project as kind of that attached, that's where they'll go to watch. Not be hands-on, so to speak, but to watch what's happening during a real-life project. Does anybody have any questions for Catherine or Mike?
No, that's a great program, though, and I'm excited it's coming to Bristol, so thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. So the next presentation that we're going to make is to Jennifer Arasimowicz, and I'd like to ask her to come forward. I did threaten her with having to make a speech, but really tonight is more about us thanking her. And I'd like to turn to our online audience and introduce the chairman of our Energy Commission, who is unfortunately quarantining and can't be with us in person, to kind of kick off the proceedings for tonight. Sean?
Hey, I'm sorry not to be there in person, Jen, and everybody else, but I am honored to be able to just briefly speak about our good friend Jen and her many years of valuable volunteerism and severely benefited the city and the citizens of Bristol. The mayor and the councilperson Hahn, who is the liaison to our Energy Commission, going to provide a little bit more detail a little bit later on Jen's many contributions, but I'll just start by saying that Jen's a well-respected principal in an advanced and green technology company. She's a futurist, a lawyer, and as such, Jen's an astute observer of the legislature and its sausage making as it relates to our state's energy and technology sectors. She's a mom, caregiver, and among probably many other things, she's also a wine connoisseur. So she's many of the things that I want to be when I grow up. I first met Jen when I was lucky to be asked to be on the Mayor's Task Force on Energy Consumption. It's the predecessor to the now Energy Commission. Frank Stosky was the chair at the time, and I don't know if Frank might even be in the audience tonight.
He is.
Oh, that's great. Hello, Frank. But Frank and Jen were driving forces behind the creation of the current energy plan that has been guiding all the activities of the Energy Commission. And you'll hear a little bit more about all of the activities and some of the accomplishments that Jen has driven from Councilperson Hahn. There's a lot more to say about Jen, but just to be brief so that the other accolades can come on. Her contributions to all of our clean and independent energy efforts here in the city are really something that are to be admired. All of our commission members, some of them may be in attendance, I see some online, all wish Jen well. We really miss you. Wish you great luck and good health and safety in Newtown, and hope to see you soon. So with that, I turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you. And now I'm going to pass it down to Councilman Hahn.
Hi, Jen. Good to see you again. I just wanted to give you an idea of just a few of Jen's contributions. We can't give the full list, but Jen spent 10 years successfully challenging Eversource's predecessor, Northeast Utilities, for ownership of streetlights in Torrington. This effort exposed the lack of accurate inventory and inability to properly bill. As a result, efforts were created in other municipalities to assess their current and past expenses. As a matter of fact, this effort greatly assisted Bristol's understanding of potential for savings in municipal energy consumption and served as impetus for the creation of the Mayor's Task Force on Energy Consumption I think it was over 10 years ago, wasn't it?
2008,
Yeah, that was a while ago.
after much harassment of then Councilman Craig Minor to get it done.
All right, Craig. As an original member of the Bristol Energy Task Force, Jen played a major role in planning and getting key players to support Bristol purchasing the street light system and then follow with the conversion to LED lighting. This has saved and will continue to save the city thousands of dollars every year for decades to come. She also led a number of field trips, which gave firsthand insight into fuel cells and microgrids for committee members and city officials. Additionally, Jen was instrumental in educating members of the Energy Commission in current and pending regulations concerning energy on both the state and federal levels. One of her driving goals was to create a fund based on the model of the Connecticut Green Bank for Bristol, to use dollars earned in energy savings to seed ongoing energy projects. This vision was fulfilled when the Energy Commission was approved to create the Energy Efficiency Fund last year. Most recently, Jen has helped the Energy Commission in identifying changes to state legislation that will make it easier for Bristol and other municipalities to take advantage of microgrid technology that we will be following up on soon, we're hoping. So Jen, I wanted to thank you very much. Very sorry to see you go, but I guess the last thing I'll say is we still have your phone number.
Thank you very much, Councilman.
So a lot of what's been discussed tonight resonates around the activity with the Energy Commission. And I'd like to thank the members that are here tonight, past and present, that are joining us online, as well as who are here. It's bittersweet for us to bid goodbye to someone from our community, even though it's for all great reasons that you're doing it. But I think that it's even more important to let everybody know that even before the Energy Commission, there was this other board that Jen served on, the Bristol Downtown Development Corporation, which was charged with reshaping what's going to happen at Center Square. So it's ironic that tonight, hopefully you'll be able to stay for it, but after your presentation, we will be signing a deal for a letter of intent for parcels 5, 6, 7, and 8, directly across the street from City Hall. And I can't help but think that all of the tireless work and energy that so many people put in to try to shape that over the course of the last, this was going back almost 15 years, that to see it come to fruition today, but knowing that all of you played a role in lifting up that foundation, hopefully feels as good for you as it does for us. So on behalf of the council, it's my honor to ask you to come forward and present to you, so that you will never forget Bristol in your office. We have a framed All Heart Award. And as you know, the All Heart Awards are not given out lightly. There's only been a handful over the last 4 years. So it reads for her energy and vision to help Bristol invest in its future over the last decade. And you have to wear your Bristol pin even though you're not technically here anymore. Okay, thank you. Speech.
I can say a couple words. I'm a lawyer, so we might be here a while, folks. But no, I very, very much appreciate this. And actually, my service to the city of Bristol started when Mayor Nicastro appointed me to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So that's how long I go back. I spent 26 years in the city, and I was born and raised in Southington and came to Bristol and really wanted to make a difference. So I hope my contributions have made a difference. And I cherish the time that I spent here in the city, the fact that I raised my kids here, in the school system. And my 21-year-old son, 2017 graduate of Bristol Eastern, actually bought my house here in Bristol. So if you have openings on city boards, I would be delighted to make that introduction. But this award is very much appreciated, and certainly, especially Councilman Hahn, you make me sound like I did so much, but it was a team effort all the way, from the Downtown Development Corporation, the Property Redevelopment Corporation, Justin, all of his efforts, Justin Malley and everything he did, and the Energy Commission, under the leadership first of Frank and then, now Sean. And I know that they will all continue to do amazing things for the city. Bristol is a great place to live and raise a family, and like I said, I cherish my time here, and I will miss you all, but I will be around.
Yes, and we do
Thank
know
you
how.
very much, Mayor.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming tonight, and we do have your number, and even if we have to bribe you with wine, we will get you back here.
I was promised wine to get here, Sean.
Oh,
We'll talk about that another
Okay.
meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
so it's all on Sean's
The
tab
mayor, I
tonight.
think, we'll talk about that later.
All right, so, and I do want to move up before we go to the rest of public participation, just so the council can be prepared. I am looking to move up item 8B to under announcements, so if somebody could ready a motion for that. But first, before we do that, I will first ask, for those of you unfamiliar with council protocol, we typically do have a sign-up sheet outside for the meetings for anybody who wishes to speak at a meeting. Sometimes people don't know that, so I would always like to ask for those in chambers, is there anybody here in chambers who would like to address the city council? And if you do, we just ask you to come to the front, announce your name, and give us your address for the record, and then you can speak. Okay, with no one in chambers looking to speak at the podium, I will now turn to those joining us the meeting online. Is there anybody who would like to address the city council that is joining us virtually?
Yes, good evening, Mayor. Am I free to start?
Yes.
Yes, hi, Cheryl Thibault, 73 Yard Drive, Bristol. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I apologize I can't be there in person. I'm actually downtown working at the Volunteer Income Tax office doing people's taxes tonight. So an item on tonight's agenda is the recommendation from the Salary Committee to hire an arts and culture supervisor. As a believer in smaller government and an advocate for nonprofit boards and commissions, I do not support this additional cost to our taxpayers. The Memorial Boulevard Task Force report endorsed creation of a nonprofit to manage the entity, as well as seek state, federal, and private grants and donations. This was the intent of the committee, and this is what the council at that time agreed to. The report was presented to the council in July of 2015. I, as well as the mayor, have served on this committee. With the evolution to the magnet school plan, the theater now falls under the jurisdiction of the Board of Education. During approval of funds for the Memorial Boulevard renovations, I had asked for an agreement for theater use be created between the city and the Board of Ed, but this was never acted upon by the mayor, corporation council, or city council. Fast forward to today, where before you is a position that goes against the spirit of the original proposal for a property that this council has no claim on. I find it irresponsible to saddle the taxpayers with additional expenses, especially during a time when many have not been able to return to work and worry how they'll manage the next couple of years financially. Let the nonprofit board perform their mission and raise the money necessary to fund this position. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the city council? Okay, then we're going to move on to, I would like to move to new business. Could somebody bring forward a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to ask the council to move new business item 8B to public participation.
Sure.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So this motion is to execute a letter of intent with Carrier Construction, Inc., or its assigns, for exclusive rights to parcels 5, 6, 7, and 8 on map Center Square re-subdivision for a mixed-use development with approximately 90 market-rate apartments and commercial space for rent, and refer it to Corporation Council for review. So could somebody move that motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay, so now we get to the discussion part. We have been very excited about this proposal. This represents one of the largest pieces of putting together this downtown development. So on this end, directly across the street from us, we will see market rate apartments with approximately 12,000 square feet of commercial retail space on the ground floor, with a lot of green space, with adequate parking for everybody plus some in the back of the apartments, as well as some nice amenities that will be added for the people who will be hopefully living there. This is something that I think will be a great addition for what we're hoping will happen on the rest of the site. And ironically, today, Justin Malley and I received another communication from another well-known entity interested in parcels 1, 2, and 3, now that it has become available. So with that, it could possibly only leave parcel 4 as the remaining piece of this puzzle, which we call Center Square. So I can't say enough about the quality of the townhouses that I've visited on Main Street that are a product of Carrier Construction. And we obviously expect that that will be the same downtown, and I think that it will definitely bring people based on the quality of that project. Even hearing about some of the tenants that are currently occupying Main Street and the apartments that have already been leased, it is drawing a wide range of people coming to Bristol. And that's really what the formula has been, trying to get a mix of people who are going to live here, who are going to work here, who are going to have something to come downtown to. So it is with great pleasure that I ask for the council to endorse this action for the letter of intent to allow Carrier Construction to continue to do their due diligence and look at their project and assess the necessary costs and pre-work that has to be done. And now I will entertain conversation from anybody on the council that might want to weigh in on this.
Mayor, I'll just say that, reviewing the documentation we were provided, I'm looking forward to this. I think that since the Renaissance project, the idea of having mixed space with retail combined with residential or, apartment living is the key to having downtown thrive. Any good downtown has that mixture. And I think that the businesses that are on the ground floor already on Main Street and North Main Street would be really excited to have approximately 90 apartments at least filled with people looking to enjoy a beer at Better Half Brewing or walking down to the Thai restaurant to have a bite to eat. So I'm excited about this proposal, and I'm grateful that it came forward.
Your Honor, also, one of the things that I'm excited about is the advent of the theater coming online over the next year and a half. And with that, bringing multitudes of people in for events at the theater and frequenting the businesses and the restaurants that are going to be coming downtown as a result of these buildings. So the plan is coming together, and it's an exciting time to be a part of Bristol.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I'm going to ask for us to vote on this item, and then, because we don't have any time to spare, and this is how excited we are, I'm going to ask Gino Carrier, who's with us tonight, to come forward, and we're going to sign the letter of intent right now. So, with no further ado, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Let's do this. She's so fresh.
This is a great shot.
Okay. So, now we'll go to announcements by members of the council, starting on my far right. Announcements. Okay.
No, Your Honor.
I do, Your Honor. The City of Bristol is proud to announce the 2021 Volunteer Tax Credit Program. In order to qualify for the $300 tax credit, you must meet the following criteria. You must be a resident and property owner in the City of Bristol. You must be 60 years of age or older, have volunteered at least 25 hours during July 1st, 2020 and December 31st, 2021 at a nonprofit agency within the City of Bristol. You must have an annual income of $45,000 single or $50,000 couple as of December 31st, 2021, and it's the adjusted gross income only, not in Social Security not included. Applications are currently being accepted on a first-come basis, and if you have any further questions, please contact the Bristol Senior Center at 860-584-7895. I also have one other one. It's in regards to the law enforcement torch run for the Special Olympics. They are actually selling signs that can be purchased. The torch run begins the morning of Wednesday, June 16th, and finishes Friday, June 18th. It'll run through Bristol on Thursday, June 17th, and the 3-day run will cover 530 miles through 100 Connecticut cities and towns. So if you'd like to purchase a sign, it's Adopt a Mile sign, you can contact Catherine Varillo at the Bristol Police Department, 860-584-3031. Thank you.
Councilman Prelisky?
No, thank you.
I do, Your Honor. So I'm announcing that this Saturday, March 13th, and also on March 27th, the Farmers to Families program will be going on again. The program begins at 10 a.m. until boxes run out. Everything will be hosted at the Public Works Garage on Vincent B. Kelly Road. You can check the United Way's Facebook page for updates or the mayor's Facebook page for updates. But it seems like it's going to be wonderful weather for Saturday, so everything looks like it's good to go. Hope to see you down at the Public Works Garage this Saturday. Thank you.
Councilman Fortier?
I just have an update from the Water and Sewer Department. The Bristol Water Department lobby will reopen for the first time in a year to the public on April 5th. The employees will also resume meter changeouts within residential homes, which they normally do regularly, which has been discontinued due to COVID concerns. And most importantly, the Water Department will resume its flushing program, which was suspended last May. Flushing of our hydrants is important to clean out any sediment, remove stagnant water, and increases the disinfection of the water that is delivered to our homes. So we're happy that life is getting back to normal at the Water and Sewer Department. Thanks.
Thank you. If there's no other announcements, we'll move to our consent calendar, which is items 5A through L. Are there any items that anybody would like to remove from the consent calendar for further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to reports and committee reports. The first two items is from the Real Estate Committee.
Yes, Your Honor. I hereby move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to sign an application for variance on behalf of the state of Connecticut Department of Transportation, DOT, for city-owned property known as 176 School Street. The Department of Transportation will be conducting intersection improvements on Route 72 at Route 69, State Project 17-187, and the proposed acquisition of 4,520 plus or minus square feet of this city parking lot may result in the city lot not being in compliance with zoning regulations. I hereby further move that this matter be referred to Corporation Council to effectuate this motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Your Honor, this is obviously it's the parking lot at the corner there, and they're going to take a portion of it. There still will be parking there, but it will be more limited, and they'll be making other arrangements for parking in the area.
Yes, they're doing several takings on sidewalks and other areas to get ready for this project, and I think we've seen a couple of those come through as referrals already. So that project, I believe, late summer, fall is the new schedule. I'm looking at Ray. Next year, in the spring? Are they still doing acquisition? Yeah. So they're still doing acquisition. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Your Honor, my second motion is I hereby move that the following properties be referred to Planning Commission for a CGS 8-24 report for the purpose of selling certain parcels of land known as 801 Burlington Avenue, lot number 175/63 Dutton Avenue, 43 East Main Street, lot number 88 Kilmartin Avenue, lot 102 Kilmartin Avenue, lot 106 Kilmartin Avenue. I hereby further move that the above-mentioned properties be referred to the Department of Public Works and the Water and Sewer Departments to determine if they have use for the property prior to being sold.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have 4 items from the Salary Committee.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Item C is from the Salary Committee to approve an increase in the rate of pay for the position of part-time seasonal certified nurse in the Department of Parks, Recreation, Youth, and Community Services from $26.90 an hour to a range of $50 to $60 an hour effective immediately.
Second.
Discussion.
This is something that the Park Department has had certified nurses in their daycare or camp programs in the summer, and particularly with COVID, they want to make sure that they're always able to get a certified nurse, which has been an issue at some points.
Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D.
Item D, to approve the creation of a part-time seasonal position of park ambassador in the Department of Parks, Recreation, Youth, and Community Services at the pay rate of $25 an hour effective immediately.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Again, this is a seasonal job. I think it's anticipated that this person would spend a lot of their time at Rockwell Park, which is our park that has the heaviest traffic or usage in the summer. This would be someone that would help people with questions and answers and rules and regulations. In other words, we've had different forms of this. We've had police officers sometimes, we've had other park employees sometimes. And this person, again, by calling them an ambassador, we want them to be a positive expression of the city, but someone who can help participants understand how to get the best use out of our parks and be respectful of everyone else that's using them.
Right.
And this was an ongoing issue throughout our parks with the hours of availability. So the hours are gonna vary on off times. So the weekend hours are gonna be a big concern that we address with this. And also some of the outer town guests that come in and use our parks that, they leave the trash around and things to that nature. So this is gonna be a huge component to the cleanliness of our parks and the quality of life in the park system for everyone to enjoy.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this works. It's an experiment, and hopefully it can handle disputes over permits for pavilions and what we do for our parties. It can educate people about the litter and the trash, and it can keep an eye on the dam building, which is a concern of the Inland Wetlands Commission and environmental groups in town as well. When you alter the Pequabic River, it impacts many other things as well. We still would hope and expect that we will be a route for the police department, especially during high peak, but then this is more of a position that can intervene early and be a positive educator of rules and, frankly, expectations within the Bristol parks. So we'll see how this goes this year and whether it has any kind of impact.
Thank you for the additional clarification.
If there's nothing else, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item E.
Item E, to approve the creation of a full-time, non-bargaining position of Arts and Culture Supervisor in the Department of Parks, Recreation, Youth, and Community Services at a salary range of $61,003 to $80,650, effective immediately.
Second.
Discussion.
Your Honor, I am so excited about this position because of what it means for the city of Bristol. This is a far-reaching position. It shouldn't be pigeonholed into one aspect of arts and culture, but this is a position that has been valuable to many municipalities that have instituted this model in the past, so and still benefiting here in Connecticut. So there is precedence for this, and it's a real exciting time for Bristol. All these decisions are for the betterment and the development of business and traffic in Bristol. So this is necessary for Parks and Rec, and it's necessary for arts and culture here in Bristol.
Yeah, and
I was just going to say, in addition to helping with the Memorial Boulevard project, as people know, the Magnet School is scheduled to open in 2022. And while the school will have first dibs, so to speak, on the use of the theater, the renovated theater, the city will hopefully have opportunities to use that theater for community productions and for guests that they want to invite in to use that theater and for the benefit of Bristol and surrounding communities. So we hope by starting this position in 2021, that person will be able to help manage that process and work on the development of the city's use of that theater, whatever portion of that use it will be. In addition, however, they will be, as Councilman Hahn suggested, a liaison, a staff person for the Arts and Culture Commission, which has been newly formed and needs a staff person, a full-time person, to be able to direct their activities as well. So this is an all-encompassing role that will deal with all kinds of things having to do with art and culture in Bristol. And hopefully, depending on what the city's use of that theater is, their position would be paid for in future years out of the revenue of proceeds of the theater productions.
which is why it's a non-bargaining position, because it's, again, a new position, and so we're not sure how it's going to go. And there's also going to be some other responsibilities through the Parks and Recreation Department for their summer programs, their arts programs, the summer concert series, as well as any other thing that might pop up. And I will tease the audience by letting you know that we have another opportunity coming downtown where this position would be very appropriate for what we have planned. So I think it might actually morph into something bigger than what we originally think. But again, to be visionary and envision the success of the theater, as well as the importance of arts and culture to the quality of life in a community, it's important to be able to understand the resilience that's needed in order to build up what that schedule is going to look like starting next year. Because you can't just walk in on September 1st and plan a theater. And also understand that there's other ancillary pieces to this job that I think will be very important to Bristol. So that's where we are with that, but I do want to just take a moment to thank Dr. Michael Dieter, the Deputy Superintendent who chairs the Building Committee for Memorial Boulevard, as well as our Finance Chairman, John Smith, who have been working with Josh Medeiros, our Parks Superintendent, who would have oversight on this position to really fine-tune it to make sure that it's what everybody wants and what everybody needs. And that's been an interesting process because there's so many pieces that are moving. But I think that they were definitely up for the job, and I think this end product of the job description and what our plans are going to definitely pay dividends in the future. Good. Are there any other questions about the position, its funding, or anything?
Your Honor, I just wanted to add thank you to Councilman Hahn for clarifying again that this is going to be an all-encompassing role, and Mary for embellishing, because my initial concern with this role was that it would be just targeted on the theater, and I think that really misses a mark in a moment where we're seeing that arts is access to equity too, and having this position gives us an opportunity to really kind of embrace a new vision for Bristol and kind of, I don't know, refocus on this community of diversity, inclusion, equity, and arts. I think arts and culture is synonymous with equity. And so I'm encouraged and excited this will happen. I mean, we saw the positive kind of attention that radiated from that mural that was done downtown. That kind of investment in our future just pays dividends for Bristol and making Bristol a destination. So I'm very excited for the opportunity that this will present to the city. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next.
The Arts and Culture Commission, this person will be attached to the Arts and Culture Commission too as part of their job duties. Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the last item from Salary Committee.
Thank you. Item F is to approve a new position of Library Technical Services Coordinator in the Information Technology Department, Local 233, Salary Code 11, effective immediately. And with that, to approve the elimination of the position of Computer Lab Supervisor in the Library, Local 233, Quote 7, effective immediately. To approve changes to salaries and insurance cost sharing for non-bargaining, I'm reading too far ahead.
Second.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So this position, what we're doing is we are moving all the ancillary IT positions that are throughout the city, and we are moving them under the IT umbrella so that we have some flexibility with the staff, that they are going to all be trained up under the same platforms. They are going to be able to interchange if necessary. But this one will continue to be seated at the library and perform all of the duties out of that location, but it will now be housed under the budget of the IT department, which is what we've just done with the police department, 2 positions, and we'll continue to try to create some efficiencies there so that we know exactly what we're spending on our technology and that we have some safety nets in place so that everybody understands all of the systems, from the hardware to the software to the processes that we have in place, digital securities, everything that has become paramount to what that department does, especially in the last year. And as many of you know, but for our viewing audience, this is a position that we also share with the Board of Education. This has been one of the consolidations that we've done, where we have now one citywide IT director, and all of the technology falls under that in concert with the Board of Education academic support and the superintendent. So again, eliminating one position, moving it to another department, part of that continuous look at efficiencies and how to do things better, and frankly to be able to answer the question, what does the city of Bristol spend on technology? It's all going to now be in one budget. Is there any other questions or concerns?
I think to bring some awareness to it, I think that position is going to cover the library alone. What was it, 140 computers they might have to monitor and maintain?
Yes.
So that's quite a bit as well. So
they also interface with the public. They also run the computer lab and do a lot of those same functions for members of the community. And due to its location next to Youth and Community Services, they will also be on call for that building as well as any other emergency within the city that might require an all-hands-on-deck situation.
it's good to see the collaboration will come together.
Anything else on this position? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to Ordinance Committee.
Can I make one other statement, Your Honor? I have my notes. I'm sorry I wasn't too careful this evening, but I wanted to refer all of those above motions from the Salary Committee to the Board of Finance for informational purposes.
Okay, so Councilman Fortier is making a general motion for items
C through F.
6C through F to also be referred to the Board of Finance for informational purposes.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now to ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. The next 2 agenda items are coming from the Ordinance Committee First, we've been working on section 5-19 regarding building fees, and it's brought to us by our chief building official, Rick Brown. Here's the motion. I hereby move that a time and place of Tuesday, April 6th, 2021, at 5:20 p.m. in the first floor meeting room, City Hall, 111 North Main Street, Bristol, Connecticut, be set for the holding of a public hearing thereon by the Ordinance Committee, and that the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances as required by the city charter.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next is the work we've done on Section 10 for the solid waste. This was brought to us by our Public Works Director, Ray Rekozinski, and it brings the actual things that they do from day to day in their work operations up to current standards. The motion reads as follows. I hereby move that Section 10, solid waste of the Code of Ordinances in the City of Bristol, Connecticut, is hereby amended to read as presented. I further move that the city clerk publish said amendments and the additions to the Code of Ordinances, and that they become effective upon the expiration of 14 days from the date of their publication in a newspaper of general circulation in the City of Bristol.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Memorial Boulevard Interdistrict Arts Magnet School Building Committee report is next, so we'll stay with Councilman Pileski.
Thank you, Mayor. The building project's moving along very nicely. It's truly become a construction project, and you'll see that the addition to the westerly side of the building, the footings are just about prepared, and you'll see some action. There's been a lot of action, I should say, around the building. But what I want to really tell you about is when we were building our professional team and hiring our architects and the construction manager, part of the agreement was that we would incorporate interested students in either architecture or construction management into the actual day-to-day project. And recently we had 2 high school students, I think both from Bristol Central, who were introduced to the project through our architects and the construction manager. And this educational program will proceed through the remainder of the construction project. It's interesting, and the kids, I think, are having a great time, hands-on, great experience, great learning opportunity. The only other thing is to tell you is there will be a community forum scheduled for 6:30 on the 25th of March. Look at the Bristol website, the Bristol Board of Education websites for more information. And the building committee continues to meet monthly. Right now we're doing it virtually on Zoom. Again, you can get more information on the Board of Ed or city websites. Thank you, Mayor.
Is the open house on the 25th a virtual event as well?
So far.
Are there any questions of Councilman Pileski concerning the Memorial Boulevard project? Okay. Hearing none, we'll accept your report. Now, moving to council members, are there any additional, I'm not looking at you, Councilman Kelly, are there any additional committee reports that anybody would like to make?
None from me, Your Honor.
Just briefly, want to thank the members of the Cemetery Commission, the Corporation Counsel's Office, and the Main Street Community Foundation for their work that they did on an item that we voted on our consent calendar, item L, to approve a fund agreement between the Bristol Cemetery Commission and the Main Street Community Foundation. I think things like that sometimes fade into the background, but it's an important transfer so that the Cemetery Commission can have a lot easier access to funds that they need to maintain our historic cemetery. So they're all very committed and they care a lot about this. So I know they're very excited, and I wanted to thank everybody that put in a lot of work and hours on making that happen. Thank you. Anything else?
None, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing, Your Honor.
By default.
Okay.
I have 2 brief committee reports.
Brief.
Economic and Community Development.
Can you be closer to your microphone so we can all hear?
As it ties into manufacturing specifically, and also there's an educational component that I'd like to touch on. Recently, the ECD has been working with, there are 5 local manufacturers where they've already received significant interest, and they're being granted money to help them in the area of completing special projects, which will help improve their business and hopefully keep them in Bristol for a while. And early projects include helping manufacturers retain ISO certification, which is the International Standard for Organization, and completing cybersecurity certifications, which will allow them to work on federal projects. So there is a big emphasis on education and the trades that is percolating. And the educational component I wanted to speak of is we're fortunate to have Bristol Tech here in town, Tunxus Community College, which has a specialized advanced manufacturing program, and also Larry Covino has an adult education, which has a conduit to people, generally older people, who are in another profession, another career, and it allows them to get into manufacturing. And I don't think Larry gets as much credit as he deserves because he's really doing a good job. But to have these three separate educational arms working in conjunction with the trades and manufacturing really, really helps Bristol and makes us attractive to manufacturers and people that do work in the trades. And I'd like to highlight two individuals. I work with a woman who has two sons, both in the trades. One is 24, he graduated from Bristol Eastern in 2014, and he's been working in HVAC since 2014. Now he's 24 years old, he just bought a house in 2020. He makes significantly more money than your average college graduate with a 4-year degree. And this 24-year-old kid, young man, has zero debt. And he also has a brother that is pursuing being an electrician. And unfortunately, Bristol Tech did not have a program when he graduated in 2017 from Bristol Eastern, but he's on that same path. He's going to be a 3-year electrical apprentice, and you know, he hasn't bought a house yet. He's 21, still living at home. But for all intents and purposes, it appears that he's on that same exact track as his brother. So why we highlight this is the fact that the 4-year route of going to college is not for everyone. And unfortunately, so many students incur so much debt that they're buried. And here are two good examples of young men that are really, really knocking it out of the park. So. School readiness, two items that I wanted to quickly touch on, not to sound like a broken record. I've spoken of this before. We've had under 50 students, parents register their children for kindergarten. So we really need to emphasize we need people to register their children. We need staffing. We need to know what supplies we need. It's tough not having these students pre-registered. And I spoke of a Ready for K, a text-based initiative to help parents with parenting skills during the pandemic and what have you. That's being underutilized as well, unfortunately. We have the capacity for 700 students to be helped, and only 357 have signed up to date. So if we can get the word out, it's a great program. It can help. There's a lot of trauma, varied trauma that children are dealing with during this pandemic, and it has a special arm that helps that and addresses that. And it was suggested that people contact Mary Alice Petroselli-Timick at bristolct.gov. No one's ever going to remember that. So my number is on the city's website. Call me and I'll put you in touch with Mary Alice, please. Thank you.
That was an extremely timely report for both kindergarten and the tie-in with what we heard about the Building Pathways program earlier tonight.
Well, I saw this young woman that runs the program nodding as I was speaking, so that was appropriate. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to our unfinished business, we have our standing item. of our citywide COVID update. And today I received some new numbers from the Bristol Burlington Health District. Currently, we stand at 4,696 cases with 134 deaths. We have a 14% positivity rate for those cases as they contrast with our population. And for those people who are following and tracking the data, I have months, we're entering our 13th month of data. And our highest, if you think back to last spring with everything seeming so daunting as to what we were dealing with, April had 355 cases, and it had our largest number of deaths per month with 52. But if you fast forward to December, 3 months ago, we had 1,377 cases in that 1 month with 20 deaths. So you can see how things have ebbed and flowed over the course of the last 13 months. February, our last full month of data counting, had 454 cases and only 5 deaths. So hopefully we are starting to trend. We used to get, from last fall, it was about 90 to 100 cases a day that were turned over to the Bristol Burlington Health District for contact tracing. They're down now to less than a dozen a day. So fingers crossed that we will continue to trend in that direction. As you heard from Councilman Fortier, we are starting to see some changes in process and protocols, and the water department is resuming some of their activities. The latest sector rules have also lifted restrictions for the senior center and the library because the infection rate is now below 2%. So you're going to see some slowly reopened programs following March 19th. We're still going to be doing social distancing. We are still going to be asking for people to wear masks and do all of that, but it'll be great to see our seniors coming back in person and also for people to be able to access the library and all of those programs as well. The Parks is also planning their summer camps, return of summer concerts, and we are hoping that we will have baseball at Muzzy Field. And I think it's important, in case anybody didn't see it, we have inoculated half of our Board of Education staff, and the other half will be done this week. So we are well on the way to hopefully maintaining in-person school. And then interestingly, I asked Patty Tomasek this morning on our biweekly emergency management call how many doses that she thinks that she's been involved with distributing to the seniors at the senior center. And she thinks that it's been over 3,000 first doses since January 31st. So then I called Bristol Hospital, and they think that they've done over 12,000 since, I didn't ask them the date, but again, first doses. And overall, the Bristol Burlington Health District has administered over 5,000. So they've done first responders and many others here and in Burlington, in addition to the closed clinics for the seniors. And as we now know, Route 6 CVS is vaccinating, as are the Walgreens. So there's many opportunities. And as much as it's difficult to make appointments, as the vaccine supply continues to grow, they're going to continue to open slots. And hopefully we will have as many people that wish to be vaccinated as possible. And then the last item that I would just reference is, you did hear our controller talk about the American Rescue Plan. There's a lot to this. We are hoping for additional funds for some COVID mitigation for the costs we've incurred. We're also hoping to use some of that money for some infrastructure and to deal with some of the issues that have become noticeable. And I keep referencing the digital divide. We didn't know that that was something that was as big as it was until we had to pivot to virtual learning. We also weren't aware that either underlying or because of COVID that we had such food insecurity issues in the community, including seniors, including those on fixed incomes, those who are underemployed, those who found themselves with lost hours and lost wages. So we've been working diligently to create programs for that. And interestingly, some of the American Rescue Plan documentation talks about the opportunity to do work with nonprofits. So that'll be an interesting avenue for us to pursue. And it also talks about the opportunity for the city to, you cannot ever supplant tax revenue with these funds, but you can create economic aid packages. So I hate to think what that's going to mean for Justin Malley's workload because contrary to what many of us believe, the economic development activity since COVID has not slowed. In fact, it has, I think, doubled or tripled because it's just absolutely insane the amount of people that we're currently working with, either here or in the Southeast Industrial Park, or the issues that are happening across the city. So that is something for all of us to keep in mind, that economic aid to the people who comprise our business community might be a factor of what we will be talking about in the next 3 months. So with that being said, if anybody has any questions, I can attempt to answer them.
Mayor, can I just take 1 second? I'd like to log the people who are working with us from the Bristol-Burlington Health District. If you remember going back to the beginning of the COVID, when all of us here were trying to relax regulations for our restaurants and small businesses to keep them open, keep them viable, and create some opportunity. The people at the Bristol-Burlington Health District were along with us every step of the way. Mm-hmm. And now with the vaccinations and along with the other work they do in inspections and in the schools, these folks have worked really, really hard. And I think we should just take a second to say, thank you. It's been great.
They've been working 7 days a week for 13 months. And for those of you who may have seen it, they were given the Healthcare Heroes Award by Bristol Hospital at the Bristol Hospital's annual meeting a couple of weeks ago. So when schools closed and we were transitioning, our school nurses and our hygienists and some of the health aides, they transitioned to the hospital and they ran and staffed the outside testing that was up there in the beginning, and then they moved inside and they were doing health screenings. So it has been a great collaboration, and they are definitely a hard-working group of people that deserve our thanks because we have one of the best-run health districts in the area that have pivoted quickly. We have not wasted a dose, and I think some people have chafed under the restrictions and some of the quarantining and some of the CDC regulations, and it does seem that it changes all the time. But I think that when you compare Bristol to other like-sized communities with like-sized populations, our numbers are very low. So that's something that can be attributed to them as well. Okay, so if there's nothing else, we can move on to the remaining 2 new business items. The first one is, well, actually they're both for the Southeast Industrial Park. The first one is to authorize me or the acting mayor to execute an amendment to the purchase and sale agreement for Lot 2, Southeast Bristol Business Park between the City of Bristol and Brown Holdings LLC. I will ask Justin to come to the podium just in case any of you have any technical questions for him. But Councilman Hahn, were you going to make that motion?
Yes, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, the motion is made and seconded. And Justin?
This amendment, it extends our time to work with Brown Holdings.
Mm-hmm.
Brown Holdings is looking to purchase and develop Lot 2 of the business park. And Brown Holdings is in the middle of its site plan process and just needs some more time to get through our local site plan approval process.
Any questions? Lot 2 is located directly next door to Pods on the beginning of Business Park. Okay, if there's nothing, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And item C, another item under economic development activity, is to authorize the mayor or the acting mayor to execute a letter of intent with SE Middle LLC or its assigns for the sale of lots 8 and 9 in the Southeast Bristol Business Park to construct up to 3 industrial/distribution buildings up to 28,000 square feet in total and refer it to the Corporation Council for review.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so for discussion, I know there was a map included in your packet, but Justin, could you just give everybody the 30-second overview of how the owner is trying to leverage his own parcel with ours?
Right, so the owner is Bob Damaris, who I've been working with Bob for years, and Bob purchased about a 9.5 acre property that runs essentially between ESPN North and our business park. And Bob had an interest, even at that time when he made that purchase, it's been about 2 years, to complement that with a purchase of lots from our industrial park, which would allow him to sort of expand this concept of almost a mini industrial park within our existing park. It would also allow him access to his property through our park. So I couldn't sell Mr. Damaris one of our building lots solely for access to his property, and he completely knew that and understood that. So we've been working together on a development plan for our lots in conjunction with his larger lot.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Your Honor, just for information, I know we've been doing a lot of sales in the industrial park. Are there any lots left?
Not really. We have an interesting situation happening on the remaining two.
So technically there are. There's 3 lots that are not under contract. Lot number 3 and then lots number 10 and 11. Lot 10 and 11 I have discussions on those pretty frequently, and we're working on a potential project just today. Not sure if that will work out, but with any luck, you'll see me over the next few months coming in for the remaining lot, at least lot 10 and 11.
Oh. Thank you.
Moving on to resignations.
You take a vote on this last one.
What?
We didn't vote, apparently.
Vote on the last letter.
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Hahn distracted me with his last minute question. Okay, now we can go to resignations.
There's one resignation, Your Honor. It's from Thomas Laporte from the Board of Library Directors.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept and to send a letter of thanks?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. For appointments, we have several tonight. The first is Councilman Fortier has ended her stint as acting mayor and will be replaced tonight by Councilman Proleski for a 3-month term to June of 2021. That is a mayor's appointment, no vote necessary. The next one is to appoint April Dews for an unexpired term to April of 2021 to the Arts and Culture Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to reappoint Christine Lee for a 3-year term to March of 2024 to the Commission on Aging.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to reappoint George Irving to a 3-year term to March of 2024 to the Commission on Aging.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to reappoint Tom Laporte to the Cemetery Commission for a 3-year term to March of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The Board of Ethics, we have 4 appointments. They are all for 3-year terms to March of 2024. The first is to reappoint Lisa Casey. The second is to reappoint Byron Pierce. The third is to reappoint Ken Zatarsky. And the fourth is to reappoint Roger Chason. Those are, we can do it as one motion to the Board of Ethics, 3-year terms to March of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor.
Aye.
It's kind of like being the Maytag repairman on the Board of Ethics this last few years.
Amen.
No. Mayor's Task Force on HIV/AIDS to appoint Judy Go, representing the Chrysalis Center, to serve on that panel.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to appoint Eric Frenette to replace Thomas Laporte, who asked not to be reappointed, to an unexpired term on the Board of Library Commissioners to January of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Youth Commission to appoint Cameron McLaughlin to replace Tanya Ledesma as a citizen member for an unexpired term to June of 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to reappoint Ramon Peters, under 21 years of age member, 3-year term to March of 2024, and he represents Bristol Central.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to appoint Renee Singleton to replace Noah Taylor, under 21 years of age member, who had a resignation for a 3-year term to March of 2024, and Renee represents St. Paul.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And next we have an appointment of Michaela Cervantes to replace Renee Singleton in her slot, because she's moved up, for the under 21 years of age member representing Bristol Eastern, which is a term until December of 2021. And I believe that Michaela is joining us online, or she was there earlier. So congratulations, Michaela. Is there a
So moved.
Second.
discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we have 2 people that are here in the audience with us tonight that are going to be appointed. The first is Bernadette Dutrumbull to replace Cameron Crowell, who was a Section 2-9 resignation. She'll be serving as an alternate member with an unexpired term to January of 2025 on the Bristol Historic District Commission. She's in the back row.
So
Wave,
moved.
Bernadette.
Sorry.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded by your councilwoman. She's a resident of Federal Hill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And lastly tonight, it's my pleasure to appoint Gloria Sapp-Smith to replace James Bernier, who resigned from the Police Commission due to moving out of state, for his unexpired term, which will take her to December of 2021 on the Board of Police Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Scott?
Oh,
You made her come.
Gloria, if you'd like to just come up, say a few words.
Wow.
I'll deflect the drama here. Go ahead.
Hi, Gloria.
Welcome.
Well, welcome. We're
Thank you.
excited to have you join us on the Police Commission, of which you will see Scott and I both there at the meeting, which is next Tuesday. And it would be great if you could just give us a little bit about yourself so people will understand who you are, especially as you accept this rather challenging role at this time.
I've lived in Bristol almost all my life. Almost all of my family is here. I'm a correction officer. I've been a correction officer. It'll be 17 years in a few months. Yeah, I'm just honored to be here and excited to do whatever I can for my community.
Thank you.
No,
I think that Gloria is going to fit really well in all the efforts that have been gaining momentum on within our police force within the past couple years. So she's a great asset with all her expertise and knowledge and what she'll bring to the commission. So congratulations, Gloria. And
Thank you.
I think the chief is also proud of you as well. So I think the chief has a little token for you too.
And excuse me, can I add something as well,
No.
Your Honor?
Do you really want to do that, Pete? I might butt into that. No.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
no, I've known the Sapp family since Gloria's brother coached my son in Little League. And big family, great people. Gloria is very intelligent, measured with her profession. She's custom made for this position. And I'm sure she's going to do a great job.
Chief, did you want to come up?
Hi, congratulations. Looking forward to working with you. Have a little card here for you, and also the official BPD mask that you can now start wearing.
Thank
So,
you.
looking forward to working with you. Congratulations.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you, Gloria.
Hey, I'd like to also invite, if they're able to stay, Bernadette and Gloria can be sworn in by our town and city clerk to save them a trip back to City Hall as soon as we go into executive session, which will just be in a couple of minutes. And she can do the honors for you right here tonight. Thank you. In terms of where we stand with appointments, I am hoping to make an appointment to the Housing Authority next month. The gentleman from the 1st District, actually, who I'm thinking of appointing, is going to be away this month, and so I did not want him to start out with an attendance vacancy for the March meeting. So we'll get to meet him in April. Okay, so that is it for appointments, and we're going to move on to the 4 items that are on our regular calendar. The first one is a resolution, and it is regarding the submission of the application to the School Readiness Grant Program from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022, and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute. And it is a resolution. Does somebody have it ready?
I have it, Your Honor. Be it hereby resolved by the City Council of the City of Bristol, Connecticut, that the Mayor Ellen Zoppo Sasu or acting mayor is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents related to the application funding grant for the School Readiness Continuation Grant Application Program from the Office of Early Childhood for the period of July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022, 3rd year of grant, including but not limited to any amendments to said application and any fiscal funding or grants documents and any and all agreements and any amendments thereto with local service providers to implement grant.
Is there a second? Second from Councilman Barney. Discussion? Hearing none, a roll call vote starting on my far right.
Yes.
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 Chair votes yes, resolution is adopted. Item 12 is the authorization for mayor or acting mayor to sign any and all documents associated with Congestion, Mitigation, and Air Quality Improvement Grant to the state of Connecticut for $3,370,500 to design and construct new traffic signals at 6 locations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13 is to award the contract 2P21-029, comprehensive rewrite of zoning regulations to Fitzgerald and Halliday, Inc. for $130,000 and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. So the zoning regs haven't been rewritten in 30 years. They are an amalgamation of a huge amount of amendments that are difficult for citizens and others to navigate. And there's also sections of it that are no longer applicable and probably could be revised for a more consumer user-friendly document, as well as to help all of us do our jobs better in terms of zoning. So we're looking forward to working with Fitzgerald and Halliday, and hopefully that will result in a much better document for all of us. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14 is the approval of change orders to D'Amato Downs, a joint venture, totaling $24,204.59 for the Memorial Boulevard Interdistrict Arts Magnet School, and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? These are small technical issues, Councilman Proleski?
They are, and they were vetted by the committee's finance board.
Okay. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We now have 3 items on our agenda for executive session. I'm going to ask Corporation Counsel Clift to let us know who will be joining us for items 15, 16, and 17.
Okay, good evening, Council and Mayor. On executive session, item number 15, having to do with Melvin DeCow, it'll be Attorney Stieg and myself. The next one having to do, and there's a correction on number 16, it should be Brendan, not Brenda, B-R-E-N-D-A-N, Mulvey. That will be Attorney Stieg, and joining us by telephone will be Attorney Eric Bartlett from McGann, Bartlett, and Brown. And the last one, the matters of William Leone versus City of Bristol and all of the various cases. It'll be Attorney Steve, myself, and also Eric Bartlett.
Okay, do we have a motion to go into executive session for items 15, 16, and 17?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So for those of you joining us, we are going to go into executive session. The regular portion of our meeting has ended. If we come out, the only business we will be transacting is any motions proper to come before us based on executive session activity. So thank you to those who joined us tonight. We look forward to seeing you at future city council meetings as well. Is there a motion to reconvene back into public session?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any business to come before the council? Oh, right. No votes were taken in executive session. Any motions?
I do. I have a motion. I hereby move that the City of Bristol enter into a full and final settlement in the matter of Brendan Mulvey versus City of Bristol for workers' compensation claim WCC number 910-45-9920 and WC number 891-021-161 and any and all other potential workers' compensation claims for the total amount of $62,500. I further move that the mayor, acting mayor, corporation counsel, or assistant corporation counsel be authorized to execute the full and final settlement.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other business to come before the council? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Can someone just vote no?
No.
Okay, one no vote for the record. Thank you.